We have to correct Elon Musk here.
Not just correct. Can we...
What?
You know when we warn you guys about stuff?
Right.
I know there's a lot of Elon fanboys. We're not Elon haters.
No.
We're nothing of the sort. But you got to be realistic, and you can never blindly... If you're one of those people that's like, no, Elon's great. He loves going to protect freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. And you put blinders on like this, you're doing what the Chinese government does with their own propaganda.
Sure.
Unfortunately. And the problem is, Winston, I've been warning you over and over again about what he's done to show his support for the Chinese government, to open up freaking car dealerships in Xinjiang during a genocide.
Yes.
Right, current genocide
Yes,
right now.
current, right now.
Praising the Chinese government, not only on Twitter, but in public, right? Like in his relationships with people. And then doubling down on working with China for future manufacturing stuff when people are trying to pull away from this genocidal regime.
Yeah.
And so when you constantly praise him and say, no, that's not the case, he's totally going to change his mind on China and stuff. I remember I went on Twitter and I saw a lot of people that were adding us and like quoting us and stuff saying like, you guys are right. Can you read this quote?
Okay, he said, few seem to realize that China is leading the world in renewable energy generation and electric vehicles. Whatever you may think of China, this is simply a fact.
Elon Musk, shut the fuck up.
Sure.
Because you know what China actually leads the world in is coal usage.
Yes.
So you can renew all you want, even though we've seen proof of them turning on wind turbines with electricity, by the way.
Yeah, to make them spin.
To make them spin. But let's just use your stupid piece of shit fact and just take it for what you say it is and say it's true, right? About this, Elon, you're wrong. You're so damn wrong. China not only uses the most coal, but is using more coal and is signed on for more coal usage and production.
Sure.
So what does it matter if you're using renewable stuff as well as that?
Yeah.
They're doubling down on using pollutants and increasing carbon dioxide emissions.
I mean, what is it? This is just a short-sighted thing to say.
Right.
Okay, so it's kind of like
Wrong.
let's say that I throw trash on the ground, a lot of trash. I throw tons of trash on the ground, right?
Yes.
But I throw so much trash on the ground that I throw more trash on the ground than all my neighbors combined. Okay. In fact, I fill up the whole neighborhood with trash. But then I decide, okay, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to start recycling the cans out of the trash.
Yes.
Okay? So I go and pick up all the cans. Now, the neighborhood, they say, wow, this guy recycles more cans than anyone else in the neighborhood.
Right.
But I also litter more than anyone else. And I destroy the entire place because everything else I throw, it's just terrible plastic shit that can't be recycled. That's what's going on here. He's saying, look, they recycle the most cans.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if they do a lot of this, if the other stuff they're doing basically just negates that stuff.
It cuts it off. Like, you can say, this is, to me, okay, you can say, let's just say this is true. Okay, it's true. But the other side of things is completely ignored. It's omission by design, right?
Yeah.
He's doing this on purpose, lying by omission.
You can build the biggest solar generating plant. You can build the biggest hydroelectric dam. You can build all these things. First of all, building them is devastating to the environment.
Yes.
The amount of bullshit that has to be done to build these things, as far as like just concrete and generating this and that, destroying the land, doing whatever you need to do. That's a huge thing. But then the power that you need to actually build it as well generates huge amounts of waste and coal usage and all that. But you're doing all of that, and on top of that, you're increasing your coal power plants at the same time. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. What China's doing is devastating.
If you're using renewable energy to try to mitigate coal usage, then great. But China is using more coal than it was previously.
Yeah, a lot more.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's like a dude who rolls coal.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a big diesel truck and he's rolling coal, but then he puts a solar panel on the roof to power his radio. You know what I mean? So he's like, oh, look, I'm using solar power for this. But meanwhile, he's rolling coal and burning out down the street.
That needs to be a visual representation that we'll use in the next episode. If you guys want to post on the subreddit.
Yeah, Elon Musk's got like a magnifying glass to the solar panel. Meanwhile, there's smoke belching out the back of his diesel truck.
That's a good political cartoon.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think there's also an analogy here that most people don't pay attention to, is that China keeps getting lauded as this green, you know, they're planting the equivalent of
planting
whatever,
trees,
forest, blah, blah. But then you know, that's used by propaganda points. People like Elon Musk will go out there and talk about how China is amazing because they're planting so many trees as well, right? And then it's just conveniently ignored that it's monoculture.
Yes.
And China's doing monoculture, which is effectively destroying huge swaths of the environment.
Yeah.
And hurting and displacing people and their farms and their water supply. And all of this stuff just to fill a quota to say they're doing desertification, they're reversing desertification.
Yeah,
right?
because I don't know if you guys realize this, but planting trees is not good for the environment if you do it wrong.
If you do it wrong,
Yeah.
it's great
Yeah.
if you do it correctly.
You know, that's the whole point. Like, you know, you've got native species and you have a native ecosystem. But if you just go out there and like, we have to plant like so many acres of trees in a year or whatever, and you just plant in the same
Chinese
tree.
government quota.
Yeah, and you're planting it incorrectly, and it actually ends up using up whatever groundwater's there, and just
I've never seen anyone actually pull this like criticism out because no one can do investigative journalism there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when I lived in the desert region of China, and I had students that would go out there and they'd get brownie points and they'd get all kinds of bonuses and stuff within the Chinese government for going to do volunteer reverse desertification work.
Yeah.
In the Taklamakan Desert as well as the Gobi Desert. By planting monoculture trees, what they would come back and say is that, oh, it's weird. We go out there with this big government entourage, take photos, and they plant all these trees and stuff. And it's really weird. It's like these little saplings in the middle of this desert, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's weird because all the local farmers are super mad at us and they throw stuff at us. And I'm looking into it. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Sure.
Turns out, like you said, the water table's being used up in an already desert areas where people are really trying to eke out a living by doing very small farms, right?
Yeah.
You have little apple orchards. You have little farms where they're growing very small amounts of crops just to get by.
Sure.
And then you'll have this government mass reverse desertification project comes in with 1 billion freaking saplings that sucks up everything. And the government may water them for a while, but then after that, it's just up to the people to deal with it.
Even watering them in those kind of desert areas, it takes away precious water resources from whatever, you know, the reservoirs and stuff.
There's whole towns and cities that don't have enough water anymore.
Yeah.
And the government says, well, bad luck for you.
You got to always look at, you got to look past the headlines because it's very easy to be trapped in when you hear it like, oh, China's leader in renewable energy.
Right.
You know, and you think, wow, isn't that amazing? Isn't that great? That's what the Chinese government is doing this for. Yes. They don't give a shit. They're doing this so that they can get those headlines.
Yeah.
So they will build this massive thing, very wasteful, very badly managed. The waste management will be terrible on that thing. They'll end up really destroying the environment in the process of doing it. But they get away with it. They get that lovely headline, and then it's whatever, and they just leave it afterwards.
My be all and end all. Well said. My be all and end all about this is that you can like Elon Musk for what he does. You can like Tesla and do all this kind of stuff, but don't put blinders on to how much he sucked off the Chinese government.
Sure.
And it's so bad because it's damning. You get people that will look at this tweet or whatever he says like it's from the Bible.
Sure.
Like it's freaking gospel. And then they don't look into it after that. And government and decisions are made based on things like this because rich people can go out there and say something important and then people's eyes get off the real issue.
Here's the thing about Elon Musk. He's a fantastic businessman. He's obviously a very important person. He's the richest man in the world and all that. But he doesn't understand China.
No.
He really doesn't.
No.
He really absolutely
not.
doesn't understand
Remember his
China.
quote about Americans are lazy and don't work, not like the hardworking Chinese people. Meanwhile, China has one of the lowest productivity rates per capita, like per hour of work. Number two, yes, the hours are tough, and a lot of that work is on the Chinese people's hardworking backs.
Yeah.
But that's basically glorified slave labor.
So he's saying slave labor is good.
Yes.
Anyway, fact of the matter is he really doesn't understand China well enough to be making comments like this, unfortunately.
No.
And people follow him around like a godlike figure. And they're like, oh, Elon Musk used this piece of toilet paper. I'm going to invest in stocks. You know what I mean? Got to watch out. You can't take his word when it comes to China. I can't say about other things because that's not our wheelhouse.
Talking about China.
But when it's China is involved, he makes the wrong calls all the time.
It's something we can safely say he's wrong about almost every single time China comes up.
Yeah.
And it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm not even invested in like Elon. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But when this kind of stuff, it shows how you can turn public perception with such a stupid, wrong tweet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.